Welcome everyone to another episode of Allergy Smart TV. I'm your host, Aaron Dwyer. Today I've got a couple of things to talk about. First thing I want to mention is that I had a very interesting experience this week. I was at McDonald's and I ordered a burger for lunch, and I asked for this burger to not have pickles on it. Not entirely fond of pickles, so asked them to make me a burger and don't put any pickles on it. Well, I had a very interesting question that was asked to me from the cashier, and the question was, are you allergic to pickles? Now, no other cashier has ever asked me this whenever I go to customize anything or ask for anything in particular for anyone else in my family. So this was a first, and I said to her, no, I'm not allergic, but thank you for asking. She said, well, I just asked in case you wanted us to change our gloves over while preparing the meal. And I was just completely gobsmacked. Nobody has ever even mentioned that solution to us as something that we could do at McDonald's, and here was the cashier offering it up to me and saying, look, we can do this. I said, no, thank you very much. I'm not allergic. I really appreciate you asking me this question because it's very important, and I think I give you 5 stars because that is just brilliant. Now, I'm going to go back there this week, and I'm going to find out if she asked off on her own, of her own interest. Maybe she's got some sort of food allergic experience within her family, or who she knows, for her to ask that on her own, or perhaps the management have said, if anybody asks for anything in particular, please ask if they have any allergies, because then we need to do this, which might be ask them if they would like us to change our gloves. And I think that is fantastic. So there's a tip for you. If you do need to go to McDonald's, you do have the ability to get anything from McDonald's, and you think you're a bit unwary, ask them to change their gloves. Wow, fantastic. So I'm going to go and find out the final on that particular story there. But I can tell you this, that every store is different in the way that they train. Even though McDonald's is a franchise, it's up to the individual management of that store in how they portray it down to the staff on the floor. Anyway, okay. Now, on to the next thing I want to talk about, and that is I got an interesting email from a viewer, a listener, a member of our newsletter list, and she's asked me a couple of questions, and I thought I'd answer them on the show. So, can I just quickly just mention back on the McDonald's topic, in Australia, for us, we can actually get the safest thing on the menu for us, being dairy anaphylactic, is the fries. Because in Australia, McDonald's don't have any extra bits and pieces in the fries. Now, however, I do believe in other countries, I know in America, that they actually have beef stock that they put in, or beef flavor, or some sort of beef flavor or derivative or something that's in the fries, and it's actually based on wheat and dairy. So obviously, please check wherever you go the ingredients of the stuff that you're trying to consume, because between different countries you'd think, no, McDonald's fries, they're not going to have any dairy in them, they're not going to have any wheat in them, just potatoes, right? Wrong. In Australia, we're lucky, it is just potatoes. In other countries, they may in fact lace other stuff in with them. So bear that in mind as well, going to McDonald's. Okay, so onto the topic. I'll just start reading this email, and I'll just inject my comments as we read it together. So this is from Lindsay. I have Lindsay's permission to discuss this on the show. I was searching online about help I can get for my son with dairy allergies and came across your blog. I have a son that is anaphylactic to dairy. He cannot ingest it as well as come into contact with his skin. He is now 2 and has had this since he was 6 months old. And we found out about our anaphylactic condition at 6 months old. Our son is now 8 years old, and around that 2 year, in our very early years, we had a lot of difficulty with coming to terms with what we were dealing with. I'll continue on. I am in desperate need. No one around us understands the real danger, and I have created a bubble for our family that is ripping me apart. This is exactly where we were when our son was 2 years old. This is exactly where we were. We had extradited all of our friends. We pushed everybody away, some with good cause, others without good cause. And we lost some good friends because of it. We felt that they weren't able to handle it, when in fact they probably would have been able to handle it fine, but we never really broached the topic with them. We never brought it up and had a talk about, look, when our kids are playing together, you're going to need to sort of be vigilant, and we need to look out for the food, and let's work together to make this work. We didn't do that, and we lost friends because of it. We could have done that. We could have had open communication between our friends, and it would have been a completely different story for some of them. For others, they don't want to know about it. You're going to come across this a lot. They don't want to know about it. That's fine. Just let them go. We've found since then several other friends that have taken it on board. We've grown since then, and we openly talk about it. We have a fairly good communication with them. They know what's going on, but here's the deal. They're prepared to take it on board, and if they're not, it isn't going to work. So you've sort of got to pick your friends, and you know what? A true friend is not going to let your child come into harm, and that's the key here. So if they're not prepared to just do a few little things differently, hand washing and looking out for what they're actually going to serve on the plate, or contact within the kids and what they're going to serve while they're playing together, look, you don't want to be with those people anyway. So that's just our take on it anyway. Let me continue. No one read that. I have tried to get him involved in activities such as gymnastics, and have come to find out the teacher had a dairy snack before class, and he broke out into hives on his stomach from her helping him learn a somersault. Look, we have been there as well, and all we do to try and get around that is that we always take our medication with us. We've always got wipes with us. We've always got food packed, because they can't just jump into a cafe anywhere or grab something from a corner shop. And if it is, it's usually just a packet of plain chips. So, and not everybody stocks, believe it or not, the simple things. So you've got to go prepared, and basically you've got to be ever vigilant. In the early years, you can't just let them go, and you can't just let them do whatever they need to do, which is a real shame. But it's just a matter of being ever vigilant. And we use the wipes, and have had in the past, religiously, and we still do today. And our son is 8 years old. So I'll just continue on. He is such a smart child, and I want to get him into preschool to continue to stimulate him, but I have talked to many schools, and they are unwilling to comply with his needs. I was wondering if you have any recommendations for me. I am in desperate need of someone who understands and may be able to help. Lindsay, we have always been under the approach of keeping things simple. So when you are going to look for in the preschooling years, it's fairly contained. There's always X number of children in the class. This involves daycare to a degree as well. And what we did was we approached the staff, and we're not into putting any bans into place. Bans do not work. Hot topic, I know, but from personal experience in this, bans do not work. I'll tell you what does work: education, and the staff being willing to accommodate some slightly different strategies to what they've been using for in the past years of whatever they were teaching. So we were very fortunate in that of the few preschool areas around where we were living at the time, they actually, one of them was able to talk with us openly about it without shutting down, knowing how much extra work was, it's not hard, but how much extra work was going to be involved. So what we did was we just made them instigate some extra hygiene routines, which is washing your hands before class, washing hands before lunch, which they did anyway, washing hands after lunch, which is fine anyway, and then washing hands before and after the meals, basically. So the big one was in the morning, and that takes care of the kids that have eaten whatever through the breakfast period. Come to school, they're all sitting down, off they go, trundle off, hand wash, come back, takes all of 1 or 2 minutes. If the class is regimented and if the teachers are in control, it's fairly simplistic to get the little ones off, wash hands, come back, do the morning session, morning tea before and after, lunch before and after, good as gold. The issue, of course, with the little ones is that they do tend to spill stuff on themselves, so the staff, the aides, the teachers, obviously they have to be aware of this, change the child's clothing, and just keep on top of it. It's very simple. So the highest form of risk management that you can do for your child is to instigate hand washing, because obviously for anaphylactic people, contact is important, and contact is where a lot of the risk comes in, because you will be teaching your child to not consume, and you will also, and your child will be aware. If your child has had trips to the hospital, they'll be even more aware, because they know what it's like. Once they've had that off to the hospital, they know what it's like, so they remember, and they won't do it again. Or you want to hope that they wouldn't ingest purposefully the allergen. Of course, that doesn't discount accidents. Accidents happen, but the main thing is that hand washing reduces a high amount of the risk, and you have to try and find a preschool that's willing to, and a school that's willing to take those sort of strategies on board. Can I just say, once the aeroplane passes us by, can I just say that that go with your gut feel of the staff. It doesn't matter what the building's like, it doesn't matter if they've got nice play equipment, it doesn't matter if the building's a cardboard box. It's the staff that make the difference, and the staff that is going to provide the care of the children. So forget about all the extra stuff, look to the staff. If you get a bad gut feeling about the staff, that they're not able to, or they're not receiving what you're saying what you're saying very well, then get out of there. Try and find something else. Unfortunately, you may not find a school that's relatively close to you. Unfortunately, we've had to drift a little bit further now for primary schools, to go out a little bit to try and find one that's willing to accommodate us. We live less than 500 meters away from a school which we cannot attend, because they are not able or not willing. They are able to, but not willing to accommodate. So we have to go elsewhere, and that's just it. You've got to do the best thing for your child, which you're looking to do, which is fantastic. So Lindsay, thank you for your email. Anybody else want to send me an email, please do so. Happy to go through it. I would also like to say I'd love to see a comment on the blog, and I'd also, if you don't want to put a comment on the blog, please put a comment on the forum, or send me an email. Let me know you're watching. Let me know that you're getting something out of these sessions that I'm putting forward here. So look, without further ado, I will see you all again next weekend. Have a great week. Bye for now.